Hey, what's up, guys? This is Reed with Rapid Response Training. I'm here with Marcus of Marcus Activities. He does a lot of Marcus type stuff. Say hello,
Absolutely.
Marcus.
Hello, folks.
So, Marcus and I were talking about some plate carrier stuff. I was dogging on his setup. Not really, kind of, slightly. I was half joking. So we decided we'd do little video on like what makes the premium plate carrier different than the like budget plate carrier. So why don't you tell everybody what you got and why you got it?
Right. So Reed was hyping up all these fancy plate carriers, and I was like, "Well, you're gonna have to sell me on it, because what I've got here I've had for a while and it's worked, and I haven't seen a reason to replace it."
Oh,
So
let me pause you real quick. Give like 3 sentences on like your training background and the stuff that you've done that has led you to the decision that you've come to.
okay. So let's see. I've probably got maybe 20 professional firearms training classes, 20 to 30. Mostly with tactical response, quite a few with Green Force tactical. I've trained
Green
with
Force
Shiv
Tactical or Green Line Tactical?
Green Line tactical. I'm sorry,
Green
yeah.
Line. Okay, Don
Um,
Edwards.
right. The night vision stuff and DMR and whatnot with him, and then trained with Shivworks for one class. So trained a lot, mostly with tactical response, with a few other instructors. And as far as gear goes, it's been the starting point was like whatever the hell James Yeager said to get is what I got, and that for the most part has served me well.
Oh yeah.
At least as a starting point. You know what I mean? Um, the only thing I could say steered me wrong on that was that Century AK. That thing was dog shit. Um, but for the most part, everything else has been at great to acceptable for the money, or you know what I mean. I
Yeah.
haven't regretted any purchases. Um, so everyone knows James was sponsored by AR 500, so that's where I definitely started out with in plate carrier world, and I have a bunch of these from them. Um, I'm not even sure what model this is. It's so worn. It's probably something
It's
that
the
doesn't make
it's the
anymore.
brown one.
Right. If I had to guess, I would say Testudo.
Okay.
Can't fully see it, but it's your regular old plate carrier. Um, and I was convinced to upgrade the plates during small unit tactics. A buddy Rich lent me a set of American Blast Systems level 3 poly plates that were just unbelievably light.
Hmm.
I was like, no way, it's worth $800. And then after I wore them for a week, I was like, it's worth double that. You know what I mean? Um,
Dude, if it is preventing me from having bullets enter my body, like it's worth kind of whatever.
the thing is, like the AR 500 also does that. It's just the weight.
Yeah. Well, it arguably does it.
I think it does a great job of it. The only argument I've heard is the frag issue. The frag lock, whatever they spray on there, that's the debatable part. The steel stops bullets. It's just heavy as all hell to carry.
Yeah. I think the well, I've seen it. So I've got a set of steel plates over here that I'll talk about this carrier in a second. But I've personally witnessed those. I believe are level 3 plates. Actually, let me just pull one out since I have them here. There's no reason
Sure.
to like guess if I don't have to guess.
The weight difference
So,
between level 3 and 3 plus is
oh,
crazy.
bro, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, so these claim to be rated level 3.
Okay.
Um, Now, I don't know if that's even real, and that's why I say allegedly is because I've heard I'm not an NIJ guy,
Right.
but I've heard that there's not an NIJ facility that tests steel plates.
Any steel plates?
So, correct.
Okay.
So when they're saying it's creative marketing, when they're like it's tested to NIJ standards, it's not
Right.
actually NIJ tested. It's
Right.
not like third party tested and certified or anything like
Right.
that. Now, how much that matters, I don't know, because like I said, this is a level 3 plate, so it's supposed to stop 308, right? 7.62 51 ball, M80 ball,
Right.
and like so many rounds, whatever. I'm not an armor.
But
I'm a
not
nerd. I'm not a
M855.
nerd. I'm not a super nerd, right? But I personally saw this stop black tip 308.
Okay. Which
So
is
like,
steel core, right?
yeah, that's armor piercing.
Okay.
That's like what the level 4 is supposed to stop, right? So will it stop bullets? Yeah. Like, will it? Is it tested for everything? Like the rumor is, I've never done it. The rumor is 55 grain out of a 20-inch upper zips right through steel plates. So I've never tested it. I don't know. That's just what people on the internet
Like
say.
regular old M193.
Yeah. So I've never tested it. Who knows? But you brought a good point with the M855, right? So like regular level 3 is not rated for green tip. It's not rated for M855, and it's definitely not rated for M855A1, which is
Right.
the new stuff.
I'm not super worried about encountering A1. It's very probable to encounter M855.
Oh,
Super common.
extremely.
Right.
I can tell you, like, from some experience with the gang culture, like, they know what green tips are,
That's
and
okay.
even though that those are not necessarily the best terminal rounds, like they buy into the hype the same as like the FUDs do.
Sure.
So and also like it's the second most common gun for a bad guy to have is an AR pistol
After what?
after a handgun.
Okay. All right.
A handgun's the most common. AR pistol is the second most common, like by a
With
lot.
with just a buffer tube, no brace.
Sometimes they'll run stocks or braces or just the tube. Yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
Um,
I always see Mr. Guns and Gear post videos with just the tube talking about criminals don't use braces.
yeah, a lot of times they'll pull the stock off for some concealability,
Right.
and like they're not really too worried. They're kind of hanging it out there anyway. So,
Right. Yeah.
but anyway, yeah. So little tangent on the armor thing, but so you upgraded the armor and you've got it in that AR 500 carrier.
Mm-hmm.
So is there anything? What are the parts of the carrier that you like? And like, well, I guess actually before we get to that, what's your when you picture putting this on for real life or for classes, right? Because that's how
Mm-hmm.
you've used it a lot
Sure.
doing that, and you probably anticipate doing some more of that. So, for classes or for real life, like what are some things about the plate carrier that you feel like are important, or like features that you would like to have, or like what do you need to carry on it?
Okay.
Because that's going to
Um,
determine like some of this, right?
so number one, I don't know number one, but a big factor I would say is durability because I'm paying for this with my own money. And when it breaks, Uncle Sam isn't replacing it for me. So I want something that is going to hold up to a reasonable standard. It doesn't have to last me my entire lifetime. But I don't want to be, I have some equipment that I feel like I replace every 2 years. And to me, that's not acceptable for something like this. Um, I wouldn't mind a little more comfort, especially in the shoulder strap here, like neck chafing, whatnot. These are real bulky straps. Um, but other than that, I mean, the thing just works. It's got a good amount of adjustability, adjusts easily. Um, I like the little kangaroo pockets here. We were having a discussion the other day about admin pouches, and I pointed out that I don't have an admin pouch. but I think I kind of make it work with these little built-in doohickeys. I don't know. I think I would like the option to run side armor. I didn't really think it was important until kind of some reflection on the war in Ukraine, and threats other than guns. It's helmet and side armor does seem to make a lot more sense in that context. So at least having the ability to use that would be
To
cool.
scale up. Yeah.
Right, right. And I just priced the plates are so little. I would hope they would be cheaper. I just priced what quality side armor costs, and it's not much cheaper than full plates.
Well,
Unfortunately,
I have good news about that.
what's that?
Is the side soft armor is not as expensive, and that will stop all the frag.
That's 3A.
And it's also something you'll actually wear.
Right.
So I'll tell you, we can get to kind of how my kit changed over the years, but I started with side plates,
Mm-hmm.
6x6 Hasco level 3s, whatever they're called.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, stupid expensive. And I wore them, I like had them set up in my carrier for a long time, but with my job, I wasn't wearing that constantly. And I put them on for a search warrant, and I was like, immediately, I was like, nope, these are coming right off.
Why?
A sync, dude. It's like I can't move.
Mm.
It's so bulky, it's in my way, and like I've got other stuff. Like I had to turn my radio off because where the side armor was like impacting the radio, and like so it's either turning it off or it's twisting the volume all the way up. So somebody keys up in my earpiece, they're like, it's literally taking me out of the fight. It's so
Right.
loud.
Yeah.
Out of the fight. Uh, yeah. I fought with a door on that one. That was the, and I thought I was going to have to fight a dog. But anyway, so yeah, I think if you needed hard plates on the sides, it would be worth having. But in general, from what I've seen from other dudes, like having that, and especially like in this context, right? So with my old job, I was putting that over soft armor, which already wraps around the sides.
Right.
But now I don't work that job anymore. I'm just tossing this on my body. So having that wrap around soft armor on the sides seems pretty important. But anyway, yeah, that'll stop all the frag and stuff. And I think you'll wear it. But
So I don't have any experience with soft armor other than the first set of American Blast plates that I bought was in conjunction with. So you have to wear a trauma pad under it. And some friends told me that soft armor also fills that role and probably adds a little more protection as well. So I went that route. So I've only ever worn soft armor underneath
yeah,
level
soft
3.
armored backers. Yeah.
Right.
Well, so like for what we're talking about, having rifle protection is important. For if rifles are not your primary threat, like really law enforcement is where this makes sense, right? So rifles are not the primary threat. So
Mhm.
it makes sense to wear something lighter and flexible, more comfortable. I'm wearing
Sure.
it all day, every day, you know,
And
52 weeks a year.
who is the Hesco of soft armor? Like who's the
Uh, so it used to be like Point Blank. Um, they had some trouble. There's no, to my knowledge, there's not like a one company that corners the market.
okay?
But what I wore was Survival Armor is the company name.
Okay.
They're out of Fort Myers, Florida. But that's what I wore, and it was good stuff. So I don't know if I ever saw it demoed. We had a save. I think it was 2019. We had a mass shooting, and we had an officer hitting the vest, and he was okay.
Sweet.
Yeah. Anyway, so anyway, yeah. So tangent on that, but all right. So I guess I'll go over this. I'll start with the worst, and I'll get to the best, and I'll talk about kind of the differences here. So this is the worst. This is London Bridge.
Sounds this English. I don't like it.
Oh no, this is old school, like GWAT company, like Blackhawk and London Bridge. Blackhawk and London Bridge were like the two companies, right? And Eagle.
Is it from Europe?
No, they're here actually locally. But this is, it's called an active shooter plate carrier, and the reason that this sucks is because it's meant to fit everybody.
Okay.
So what it means is it fits nobody.
Nobody will, yeah.
So you can see you've got like the bare, maybe the lighting's bad. You've got bare minimum molly here, right?
Yeah.
You've got nothing up top. Your shoulder straps come down, and to get the armor to ride high enough, the shoulder straps have to be cinched down all the way into the chest of the plate carrier. So I can't even put my placard on here, my identifier. And the back is similar. The plate bags are enormous, again, because they don't know if somebody's going to be putting XL plates in here.
Right.
So it's just a giant cavern, and the plate just kind of like it. Yeah, it doesn't fit well. So, and then the side attach is these Fastex straps.
Yeah.
And then they've got elastic built into it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, talk about a big wear item and everything else. So, this might actually be the American-made one. It says it's made here. I don't know if, but maybe that's their creative way of, like, the company's technically here.
Right.
But it does feel like they've got some foam in the back, which is nice because this was used with hard armor plates. And it does have, here's a nice feature. It's got a spot for your push to talk, right?
Okay.
So it's not covered in moly, but they intentionally put that on there on the right and left. So, but yeah, some of the things that make this suck is that it's not fit to the plate. And so, like, when you put this on, it's just sloppy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, everything moves in ways that you don't want it to move. So that is, yeah, it doesn't fit the equipment and it doesn't fit you. So,
but that's old technology at this point, like, right? That's not what people are buying.
Correct. Yeah. So just to make it easier to move around, I'm going to take the other plate out of this one. Mutual friend, shout out Cody, sent me this, so appreciate you, bro.
Solid
dude. He's the bro. So this is a Shellback Tactical, I believe it's a Banshee. So this was like considered like kind of the budget carrier to get for a long time, right? Like, it was quality. Oh, sorry. I'm looking at myself backwards. It's quality, but it's budget. So
okay.
Some nice things about this. I've got Molly all over the front of it. It's still a little bit, it's a little bit cut better. It's not a giant cavern, but it's still pretty big.
In terms of holding the plates.
Correct. It does have a little bit of padding on the inside, which for if you're gonna put steel in it is nice. I kind of, if you're not going to be using steel, which you shouldn't, like friends don't let friends use steel armor, as you know,
Right.
I kind of think to me that's a detriment. That's a bunch of weight.
The padding,
it's
or the
something
steel?
the padding.
Okay.
It's a bunch of weight. It's a bunch of stuff to soak up water,
Mm.
and it also like it. I think it makes it hotter. It's insulating.
Okay.
So
makes sense.
I would prefer that not be there. So the cummerbund. So we can see here it's this it's just like nylon with moly sewn into it. Now the good thing is it's sewn into both sides. So it's sewn into the inside of the cummerbund as well. So that's excellent because now if I want to mount side armor, I can mount it to the inside of the cummerbund. Or if I want to mount pouches, like I want to run a magazine or a radio inside the cummerbund.
Yeah.
So I'm like the outside is slick. I can do that. So that's a big positive. The downside is like, look how floppy this is. Right? So when you do mount stuff to it, it is extremely unsupported.
Okay.
And then again, because it's this piece of nylon, which first of all, it's like a pocket, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you said mount armor.
Yeah.
The plates don't go inside of that. It's like a plate that you would molly. It's a bag that you would molly onto the. Like I thought the side armor would go inside of the cummerbund itself.
Well, I stand slightly corrected.
I think mine goes inside of it.
So you can fit a rectangular piece of what I would guess would be soft armor in here. So I didn't think it was, but I just discovered this when you mentioned it. So you could do that. Downside to that is this cummerbund is not sized adjustable. So, and there's no retention inside that pocket. So if your armor is smaller than what the pocket is, right? Like say you have a 5x7 panel, but the pocket's pocket's 5x11.
Right.
Like it's going to move around.
Right.
So again, and that's, to me, that's a big deal when it comes to the plate carriers. Like I'm going to keep harping on it, is like, I kind of want nothing to move unless I want it to move. Like, sure. Unless I want to get in or out of the plate carrier, I kind of don't want anything to move. I don't want it to like flop on my body, and I don't want it to flop inside the carrier. Right. So, if I was going to put soft armor on this, the way I'd prefer to do it would be to molly my soft armor panel or my hard plates, which for hard plates, you would have to do that. You can't stick them in here. Right. Anyway, so the pocket to me is a detriment, because it's just like, oh, let's just have a piece of nylon tube that can hold water. Right. And like no ventilation too. So when you're wearing this all day and it's hot, it's 100 degrees and 99% humidity, like this is just, there's better ways to do it. It made sense when they designed this, right? But today there's better ways to do it. So
gotcha.
Here's another way it moves around. So this is actually a little bit of a plus on this plate carrier. You can see, you can pull the cummerbund all the way out it's just in a sleeve.
Yes.
I think it's the same way on yours, right?
Yes, correct.
So you just pull it all the way out. It's like a sleeve, and then you weave it together, however you weave it together. And that is convenient for setting it up and sizing it, which I appreciate. I'll tell you about mine in a second. It's a little double-edged sword. The downside is like now it's floppy, right? Like it can just pull out however it pulls out. So
yeah, I didn't realize there was an alternative to that.
Yes. So there's better ways of doing it now. So there's something for that. The armor pockets, they just went super simple, right? So this just wraps over the armor pocket and it velcros on the outside of the bag. So
I see
here's
what
I
you were
was
saying
talking about with
now.
danglers, right? So danglers don't work unless it's velcroed inside the bag.
Right. I get it now.
So to be able to use Velcro that would be in here. So that is a downside to this kind of carrier is I can't put now I could do it on the front if I did it under the cummerbund, but I can't do one on the back like the Ferro Concepts Roll 1.
Sure.
That we had talked about. And there's a video on here about that if you want to go look at it. But
seen it.
Yep. So and then it's also like, as you can see, it's a bunch of extra fabric and stuff that's like, again, weight, like it's stuff that we don't need. So shoulder straps, these have very minimal padding, which I think is good. It's good that they have padding built in. That's positive. It's good that it's not too much. That's also positive. And it's good that they're quick detach. So it's kind of a hidden buckle and quick detach. So this is a feature. This is a big plus to me. I just wish they had done it a little differently. But here's something people don't think about is putting this carrier on, does yours have QDs on the shoulders?
That's what I'm not sure. And it seems like the buckle would be uncomfortable. Yeah, it does.
Okay. Is it in the back? It's in the back though.
Right.
So again, it's a little double-edged sword. So here's what I love about quick detach. So first of all, like if you got to get it off quick, obviously. Right?
Yeah, but it's under this. So it ain't that damn good. I had to take this off to even see this.
Could you squish it up, like out of the way? Like try on your other one, on your other side. Can you just like
maybe. Not easily.
Maybe.
Not easily.
So the something people don't think about is being able to get in and out of this thing with the shoulders. So not having to put it over your head is huge because I can have my helmet on. I can have a hat on, ear pro on, glasses on, like all of that, and I can get into it
right
like this and click the shoulder back up and like so that to me, and especially if you're trying to do this inside of a car,
right,
like
we don't have the overhead room,
you're being the super secret squirrel, and or like you're responding to something, like you're going to the active shooter or whatever, you're doing this while you're driving. I've done that many times. Like that to me is a big deal. Having the quick detach shoulders. Here's the downside though, this has it on both sides. So ideally I would only want this on one side and I would want to pick which side. So that way I can have it not on my side where I shoulder my rifle.
Okay.
Because like it's something I can work around, but I would rather not have a big 2-inch plastic buckle like right in the vicinity of my shoulder pocket.
I just feel like it would sit uneven. Like it would just not feel. It would feel weird if they weren't.
If I had, well, so yeah, basically like if this side were the quick detach and this side were just a nylon strap,
right?
we just skip this step,
right?
So everything else is identical. And then you'd be like, ideally, if it was a smart design, you'd be able to pick which side, so lefties could have it on the right.
Right.
So that's something that is good about this carrier. I think they could have done it better. And then this is a problem with almost every plate carrier out there. The shoulder straps are too long. So you almost can't, and maybe it's just my body type, but like I'm a pretty average body type for a dude that's going to be wearing this stuff. Like
right.
I'm 5'11", 195 and muscular. Like it's not like there's a bunch of dudes bigger than me. There's some dudes bigger than me. There's actually a lot of dudes smaller than me.
Right.
And I basically have to cinch the shoulder straps as far as they'll go. You can see all this tail, right? To get the back plate and the front plate to ride where they should be riding.
Right.
So this is kind of a downside with all of them. Here's another positive, and this is something I noticed on yours right away. The shoulder straps come out at an angle. Again, like that's a huge plus.
Right.
That it makes a big difference. So I'll keep this on real quick and show the other thing is this has the traditional cummerbund attachment, which I believe yours does as well. So it's this whole front panel here. Velcro's up.
Right.
And then I take my cummerbund and I Velcro under it and I Velcro. So maybe I'm a snob, but that sucks.
Is that not how everything is?
Not anymore, dude. It's the future is now, old man.
Okay.
So now, like the standard, in my opinion, the standard is the first spear tube system. So
but I thought those were something that you would integrate with this. Is it a completely separate, like there's no lifting up the flap and the Velcro and
correct. Yeah, correct. There's no flappy Velcro-ness.
Okay. Interesting.
So I'll show you that in just a second. So again, this is kind of like the old standard where I have to do all this Velcro bullshit.
Right.
And I kind of hate that. I get it. The positive is I have some adjustment, right?
A lot of adjustment.
If I layer, I can just move the cummerbund out a little bit. Yeah. And if I take layers off, I can move it in because I've got this whole field of Velcro. I can even overlap these, right? If I wanted to.
There's a ton of adjustment there.
So that's a positive. The downside is now if I'm going to do that very much, now all the stuff on my cummerbund isn't in the same spot.
True. Yeah.
On the inside and the outside. And that it may not be a big deal, but like I can tell you, I had a double mag pouch, 10-speed mag pouch on my plate carrier set up. So I'd have 2 magazines on my left side, 3 on the front, 2 on the left to get me to 5, 6 with 1 on the belt, 7, 1 on the gun, right? I'm good to go. Well, once I changed the way that plate carrier fit, the second mag is just like literally jabbing the nerve that's up under my bicep.
Sure.
And like, I just can't put anything there. So if having your smoke grenade or your radio pouch like an inch off or 2 inches off may not be a big difference for like access. Maybe it is, but I can probably work around that. But it might be just like fitment or conflicting with other gear. So because I spaced it out, now it's in the way of my pistol or whatever, right? So it's just something to think about. But yeah, so the adjustment is a positive that can be lost with some other systems. So I think that's here's another thing is this kangaroo pocket, right?
Is that what you call
That
those?
is on the that's on the front of the plate carrier. That's what I lift up to like get into my cummerbund.
Yeah.
If you're not going to use this for magazines, it's like a bunch of extra fabric that I don't need,
Right.
and it's like a big bucket of water. So
do people put just mags in that with no?
yeah, so they would take some sort of an insert.
Oh, okay, okay.
It would Velcro in here, and then they would run their mags in there. A lot of the times, it's like I almost pulled these off. I ran out of time just because the black shows up terribly on camera. But a lot of times, it's like it's a mouth to hold the mags, and then it's some elastic retention. But there are some companies that run that do like Tegris, so it's like a friction fit Kydex basically.
Okay.
For open top. So, which I'm a big open top magazine pouch guy too, because I'm like, yeah, I don't jump out of helicopters or like do.
So, whoa, where'd you go?
I'm here. For some
I
reason my
have
phone does that.
I have found that pouch is excellent for my chest seals.
So
my notebooks and shit.
you can yes. Well, so I'm gonna say notebooks, no, because I probably want to get to the notebook pretty often. And I also don't want to have to rip Velcro every time I need to get that notebook out.
They'll hear you coming.
So, yeah. Like, especially at night. Like, you do the night vision stuff. Like, if I have to write something down, like a land nav point or whatever, I don't want to be ripping Velcro for a notebook.
Yeah.
Personally. And then the chest seals, like, if you've got to put them there, great. Like, you've got them. The downside is like now your medical's all split up.
Right.
And do people know to look for it there? Because like if I just came up on you, I would not know to check there for chest seals.
Sure.
So,
but you can't fit a full size chest seal in.
For sure, you can. Yeah.
In that guy?
Oh yeah.
That's a big ass medical pouch, and I don't think it has the footprint for the full size chest seals.
I've got chest seals in my Ferro.
In your roll one?
Yeah.
Just kind of rolled up. Just rolled up.
I mean, yeah. They're flexible.
Okay.
So, yeah. So anyway, that's some things like some good and some bad on this. Yeah, I don't know. It's simple. There's not a lot to be said other than it's just like, it's totally serviceable, just like yours probably is. It's just maybe not optimal. Sure. So, but I'll throw on my actual rig and I'll talk about like the things of a premium chest carrier, plate carrier.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
For starters.
All right. So ask your question again because I had paused the.
Oh, okay. So what plate carrier did you just put on?
So this is Spiritus Systems LV119 LV119 Overt.
Okay. A lot of letters and numbers.
Yeah. So LV low vis 119. I don't know why 119, just cause. And it's the Overt. They have a covert version, which personally I think is dumb because the difference is so minimal.
Is it less molly?
It's no molly.
Okay.
and no zippers.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's the only difference.
Okay.
So zippers on the back for back panel. But
Oh
anyway,
yeah.
So some stuff that makes us different is this plate. The plate bags are sized for the plates.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wear medium sappy plates, right, which that's how you determine what size you are, is like your armor needs to fit your vitals, right? So
right.
You go to the armor site, you look at their sizing chart, and you measure yourself, and you're like, oh, I need medium or large. Probably
right.
most people need medium and large. But it's sized exactly for a medium sappy plate.
So have you? I looked up my plates and then I measured them, and it was the actual size was not exactly 10 by 12, which is what they're called.
Okay.
I don't know if you would just go 10 by 12, or you go by what you.
Bro, you gotta care in them.
Got a what?
Yeah, they shorted you an inch, dude.
No, well, one dimension was larger. I think they were both like a quarter inch larger or something.
Okay.
It was like 10 and a quarter by.
So that you get that quarter inch for free, big dog.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it was 10 and a quarter by 11.75. So they took it off here and added it here.
So I think you're just gonna have to look. Probably, I'm pretty sure medium sappy equates to the 10 by 12. It could be the large. It could be the large though, but they have there's a little bit of play, but not much, which I like because nothing is floppy.
Sure.
Like it just stays on, right? So that's really positive. Okay, that's almost perfect. Maybe I can move back just a hair.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that pretty well.
Yeah, so I've got Molly up top. I've got places for my push to talks, kind of like the other one. There's no Molly on the front of this carrier. So this is potentially a downside if you've got legacy stuff like you were talking about, but everything now is placards, right? So this whole system is a placard that attaches via clips.
Okay.
So like the idea here is I can just take this off and like put a different one on.
Yeah, put on the 308 placard or whatever.
A 308 placard, or like this is my super slim like vehicle CQB thing. And if I'm going to go out in the woods, I might like have a bigger thing.
A double stack or something, yeah.
Yeah. So it might be a negative for some people. For me, I feel like I didn't give up very much just because that's how the future is. And also, if I ever wanted to, and I have multiple times used this in a low visibility role where like I'm concealing this, being able to strip the placard off is like, okay,
you throw a hoodie on or something.
It's almost like an MBAV type. It's almost like the super low profile carrier.
Okay.
If I had slim plates, these plates are thick. If I had slim plates in, it would be even better. But
sure.
So if you were to get this and you've got a bunch of legacy stuff that you still want to use, which I would say just get the good stuff. But if you didn't want to do that, you can buy adapters. So it's a placard where it's just Molly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So, and then you can Molly your pouches onto it.
Right. Side note, what like that placard you just tore off of there, what's that cost?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. This is a S-Tac. They've got a weird name for the triple rifle placard.
Right.
But it's like, it sounds Korean or something, like Daewoo or something. I can't remember what they call it, but it's like the S-Tac Kiwis, if you've ever used those.
I mean, I've seen them. I haven't used them.
But, okay, so
I mean, are we talking $50, $100, $200 for like a standard placard?
Probably 50, 75, somewhere in there.
Okay.
For that one, there's different ones. Like
Sure.
the Spiritus one is like a standalone chest rig. So you can run it as a chest rig. You can run it as a placard, right? Which is again,
that's so you could buy like you could buy like an H harness type thing and then clip the placard onto it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but here's like here's a S-Tac Kiwi pouch. So it's just a nylon pistol pouch, and it's got a Kydex insert in it for retention.
Okay.
So that's the same way this placard works. I'm a big open top like Kydex magazine guy for access, for re-indexing.
I'm not opposed to that. I've never tried it.
Yeah.
The black
and then the tourniquet, of course. What's that? Oh yeah, I know, right? The tourniquet is not designed for this. I've just got it Velcroed behind. So this tourniquet pouch has horizontal belt mount or vertical molly. So what I did is I took the horizontal belt mount and I just put those straps up under and
sure.
So
it looks like it was made for. I thought it was part of the placard.
Right. It's working great. So, but that's how quick and easy like the placard system is.
Mm-hmm.
So, actually, while we're on that, let me pause this 1 second. I'll show you what I'm talking about with the chest rig.
Okay.
All right. So talking about placards, everything's based on the Mayflower system. So the type of buckles, where the male and female buckles are, and the spacing, it kind of got standardized by Mayflower, the Swift clip system back in the day. So pretty much everybody making placards they're all going to work together, which is pretty cool. So
that's exactly what you want. Yeah.
Yep. So I'll show you this. This is a Spiritus chest rig on a Thing 2 chassis. It's a Mark IV Spiritus chest rig. So I'll show you how like you can do the modular stuff, which to me is whatever. Like some people, it's cool. It is a selling point, right?
The modularity.
Yes.
I have found it completely. I've looked into buying Spiritus chest rig type stuff, and I can't understand from the website like what else do I need to buy? What am I getting? What goes with what? It's not clear at all from the website. At least to somebody like me who doesn't like do this for a living and like have dudes that are like showing me this shit all the time. Like you can't just go on the website and be like, oh yeah, this is what I need with this. And
you're just not a nerd like me, dude.
I mean, it'll have a picture and like part of it'll be grayed out. And you're like, okay, I think that means this doesn't come with this, but you know, where do I get the grayed out part, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is, it's a Mark IV chassis. It's a Mark IV chest rig on a Thing 2 chassis. So I'll pull it off the chassis. You can see, so this black piece here is the chest rig.
So it's Velcro backed, and then it's got the two little clips.
And it's got
to go on the plate carrier. Okay.
So I'll take this. I'll take my magazines so you can see. You can get an idea. Yeah, the Stendos, dude. The sticks. So there's the chest rig, right?
Oh wow. What did you just put? Oh,
I just put the magazine.
Wait. Is that the placard that you were just wearing and is that the placard that was just on your plate carrier and you just put that?
So what did you just put the mags into? I had set up. This is the chest rig.
So you just didn't have mags in it when you showed it to me at first.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. So it's essentially two pockets. And I've got a magazine insert in the back. And I've got this zippered admin thing in the front. Okay. And then I've also this Molly on the front. This is aftermarket. Actually,
Okay.
so is the zipper. So it's actually just black Velcro on the front.
Okay.
But I wanted it to be camouflage, so I did that.
High speed, yeah.
Yeah, but same deal. I can just clip in, Velcro in, and now I have that instead if I wanted that.
Yeah, that's
instead.
pretty cool. Way
So,
more admin.
Yeah, so some dudes like, all right, you're gonna have 3 different placards that you can switch between, or I want to take it off and run slick, right? So that's benefit. I don't know if that's important or not, but
No, that's awesome.
Yeah. So the tubes though is when I got this specifically, I bought it for Active Shooter. And the way that my mind thought about it was when I bail out of the car, whatever's on my body or in my hands, that's all I'm going to have. Like when I get out of the car, I'm going into wherever I need to go into.
Right.
I'm not like going to the trunk and like putting kit on. Like
while children are dying, yeah.
Exactly. So I wanted the first Spear tube system because I want to be able to put this on and off one-handed while I'm driving.
Okay.
So this is how the tube system works. You see this plastic piece here. So I wish this wasn't black. It is what it is. I put a different.
I can see
I put
it
a light
well.
colored shirt on. So
yeah.
You've got a piece of cord here that you lift, that you pull on, and it deactivates the safety, and then it just comes down. Or
how the hell does that not happen accidentally?
This has to be pulled out.
Yeah,
so
I mean, come on,
that would get. You can take this and mess with it all day long, but unless you pull on this cord and then pull up or down,
pull out and then slide the tube.
Yep, and like it's totally intuitive, and
yeah,
it works both ways, up and down.
It just seems like if that cord got caught on anything, it just seems like it could happen accidentally. Has it not been your experience?
No, 0%. It's also like you can see it's like I've got all this stuff on here.
Sure.
So it's in a like a negative space, and it
right.
doesn't stick out. It doesn't.
Right.
It's not like hanging out like this. It's like laying down flat.
If you took that little piece of cord off, could you still do it just by grabbing the little tab there?
You could. What I would say is like, if you were more worried about that, make it shorter.
Right. I mean, I don't have it in front of me. Like if all these people use this and nobody's complained about it, then it's probably not an issue. But that's just my first.
It's a non-issue.
Okay.
But it's obviously very, very fast to get into. It's quiet, and it's also not. I guess it's a wear item, but it's not a wear item like Velcro is.
Okay.
It's also replaceable. So,
like
if the Velcro wears out on that Shellback Banshee plate carrier, like, okay, could I take it somewhere and have new Velcro put on it? I guess. But like, kind of
nobody's doing that.
You need a new plate. Yeah, no, you need a new plate carrier. With this, like, I can just get a new tube. So
the only downside I see is if you throw a level 4 or a level 7 jacket on, there's no adjustability, right?
So on this specific one, that's correct. So the male tube is attached to the front plate bag.
Okay.
It's attached directly to the bag, right? So if there's just a piece of webbing there, it attaches. It attaches like a repair buckle.
Does that plate carrier ship with the tube system?
If you buy this cummerbund, yes.
Okay.
Because you can get the old school style cummerbund, or you can get like an elastic cummerbund. There's different options for this one. The new one, that they just came out with at SHOT Show, they're only giving you one option.
Okay.
But anyway, so there's a way around this is you can run an adapter. So what the adapter is it's a piece of Velcro that fits on the front here under your placard, and it's got the piece of webbing. So instead of mounting it directly to the plate bag, you mount it to the placard, and then like I can do with that Banshee, I can just move those adapters in or out slightly depending on my layering needs.
Okay.
So, and it's a very, very low cost optional upgrade that you can do.
Sure, that's a solution.
Some carriers come with it. So the Shaw, that's the only option, is they come with it, and so you run your tubes off that standalone Velcro piece.
Dude, that carrier is like $500.
Yeah, it's pro
That's
level
nuts.
stuff. It's pro level.
That's nuts.
Yeah. So the other part of this cummerbund is it is skeletonized.
Breathable.
So exactly, it's breathable. It's light. It's not retaining water, and it's also rigid. So I don't know what they put in here. Some sort of plastic or Tegris.
Almost like a belt. Almost like a carry belt.
Exactly. So this is it's still pretty flexible. This one is, but it's at least twice as rigid as like that fabric one.
Okay.
And it's also double-sided. So there's this mine's in in black because that's what they had when I bought it.
Sweat stain camo.
Yeah. So I didn't even hear what you said.
I said sweat stain camo, multi-cam black.
Yeah. So it's got this fabric that's over it's got a fabric, and then it's got that reinforced piece. And so I can mount stuff to the inside and the outside simultaneously.
Yeah.
So so they basically did what they took that old fabric nylon cummerbund and just improved it in every way.
Right.
So, and that's big. Like you look at my left side and it's totally full.
Yeah, you got a lot.
I've got smoke so far back that I have to mount it upside down because I can't pull it up out of the pouch.
Sure.
So, and the reason for that is so I can have my right side slick for my handgun, and also because I don't like building out. Like I've already got thick plates, so I don't want to build out. I'd rather go around or down, right? So like I've got this here as my admin. So I happen to have a radio and a push-to-talk in here currently because my radio pouch is a work in progress. But, you know, I got my notebook and my lens cloth and whatever else I need to do. Signaling stuff probably. So
and is that another cat on the bottom of that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So this is a Haley dangler. But obviously I can run the dangler here, which I can do with any Velcro-y flap type plate carrier. Now, like our mutual friend Tom, he's got one that has the clips on the side, and I don't believe there's any flap in the front at all. So he's not going to be able to run any kind of dangler, right? Front or back. So I've got a front and back on this.
So how does it hold his plates in?
I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know. I just mean like he doesn't have the cummerbund where it comes up and Velcro's under. That's what I'm talking about.
But isn't there a Velcro inside that he could put a dangler onto?
Only if it Velcros to the inside of the plate bag.
Right.
and not the outside like that Shellback. So
Right.
maybe he could. But anyway, yeah. So I got a lot of weight on this, and it carries it well.
Okay.
When it's sized properly, it's not overly floppy. So I think that's a big part. A huge downside on this one is these shoulder straps are at like 90 degrees.
Yeah, straight
So
up.
this is maybe my least favorite part. And there's also no quick detach. And without taking it to like a John Willis type of dude, there's not a way to retrofit it. So they changed this on the new one they just came out with. They changed the angle and the QD. So
And that rubs your neck a lot, or like what's the downside of that?
Comfort. It's less about rubbing my neck. Really, I had no neck rubbing issues at all.
Okay.
It's more about getting it on is difficult because the head opening is so small.
Sure, especially if you got a helmet and shit.
Oh well, there's no way to get it on if I have that. Even sunglasses, like everything's got to come off for me to put this on. So the Spiritus, they're called shoulder covers. They don't sell shoulder pads. And that's something that like I never had a problem with before, just because I wasn't using it in that kind of a way. And then I took SUT. I was 2 days in. I was like, this is pretty miserable, to be honest. And I borrowed some Peltor wraps, and that solved the problem. But Cody sent me these with the Shellback. So now I've got real shoulder pads on here. So I'm trying to think. So back panels is another positive to like the modern plate carrier. So I've got zippers on the back. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So you can molly stuff to the back of your plate bag, but it's going to be floppy. Whereas like this one is mollied on the top with Velcro, then it zippers down the sides, and then the bottom folds up under. It's in the Ferro video, but up under into the plate bag. So
is it
like
pretty quick and easy to change?
It is, yeah. It's quick and easy to change. But what I like about it is that it's like it doesn't move.
Okay.
So that's cool. And like if I want to go super low vis, like I can strip it off.
Sure.
With a lot less annoying and a lot faster than like having to molly 69 rows, because that's a lot of molly if you're putting like a hydration carrier on the back of the plate bag. So I think like the short version of the way to say it is sizing and fit primarily, but also features. Like the semi-rigid skeletonized cummerbund that works on both sides. It's double-sided molly. The tube system. So I think all of that is a significant advantage. There's no padding in this at all, which I like. Now, admittedly, I'm running poly ceramic hybrid plates. So they're already a little soft toward my body anyway. And they're also multi-curve. So my plates are really, really nice. So they curve this way and this way.
Right.
So if I like threw those steel plates in here, it probably would suck more.
As far as my level 3 American blasts are multi-curve, and my level 4 are single curve, and it's because they had like an insane sale on the level 4s that I just I was like, I'll tolerate the single curve for the half the
Yeah,
price or whatever it was. But I
yeah,
definitely noticed the difference.
yeah. If it's a big difference. I'm an armor snob, admittedly. Um, I I would rather have a budget gun than budget armor, personally. Um, but there's a little bit of so most of this plate carrier is nylon,
Hmm.
but there's a section on the side here that's like it's some other kind of fabric, and it's got some stretch to it. So theoretically, that's giving you a little bit of leeway with the plates, and then also vertically, like you can always uh, like that Velcro that folds up in there. It can always be further up in there or slightly lower. So you've got a little bit of adjustment with the plates. Um,
So there's
like
not the two. So mine has that, but there's also two internal straps that
no
Velcro.
internal straps. So yours
Okay.
needs that because it's not sized for the plate,
Right.
right? So because this is sized for the plate, everything fits like a glove because it is designed to fit together
Right.
from the start. And then B, I don't have any of that like weight and bulk that is
Sure.
taken up by those retaining straps. So
Just looking at these two carriers, like that looks like significantly less uh
yes,
heft or like
yeah,
I can't
it
even tell you what about it, why, but just looking at the two, it looks
and
smaller.
and that's exactly. And like it's hard to describe. It feels smaller too, especially when I don't have this on the front
Right.
and I've just got the three mags. But it's like when you look at it, it doesn't even look like I have plates in here. It looks like like soft armor or
Right.
something like that. So um, I don't know. I think it's enough quality. Now some of the other stuff. So we talked about um, the Shaw Concepts. So that one has adjustability, but it's not like a big bulky thing, which is cool. They call it the spider system. So they have like Velcro tabs on the interior of the plate carrier that you can take all the slack out
Okay.
if you have slack. Um, but
Just
my
looking at the
favorite.
picture of that, it looks like there's more heft to it than
Oh yeah,
this or
yep. So
something.
this
So
is this is designed to be a minimalist plate carrier. So as LV is low visibility, right? So
sure.
and whereas the Shaw is designed to be a maximalist plate carrier. So,
Okay.
um, but if you're going to use it in a maximalist way, like I'm going to put a bunch of stuff on here and like I'm going to need to carry a bunch of stuff.
Hmm.
I mean, that kind of seems like the move. If I was going to buy one today, I'd probably buy the Ferro Concepts, not the Slickster, the V5. I
Is
think it's
that
like FCPC V5.
is that any cheaper
Um,
than the Shaw?
I think so. Yeah. So the cool thing about that, it does a lot of the stuff that the Spiritus one does, but the shoulders to me are like 10 times better. So the
Hmm.
shoulders, they use a D ring, so they articulate.
Hmm.
Um, and then they also have quick detach, and you can set that up which side you want it on. It's a mini Cobra. It's like a 0.75 or like 1 inch Cobra.
Like the SRE
Um,
belts?
yeah,
Interesting.
and or you can run double if you really wanted to do that. Um, and then you can run the cummerbund is structural with Tegris, and then you can run tubes or you can run Cobra buckles for your attachment. And then they have, in my opinion, the best side soft armor option available. So they have somebody make side soft armor specifically for their plate carrier,
Okay.
and it velcros to the inside of the. It's totally wrap around and it velcros to the inside of the cummerbund, and it's like pretty cheap. It might be like I think it's under $200. So,
Okay.
And then, but all the other stuff the Spiritus does, they do too. It's maybe a little bit less low visibility. So maybe that, I mean, I think that matters. And that's a big reason I got this plate carrier too, is talking to Jay, like, hey, if we ever need to do this, like, we're probably not going to be all walking around like showing who we are.
Right.
You know, so being able to strip this down and where it's slick, I think it's good. Personally, what I would like to do is have 2 plate carriers. Well, actually, I'd like to have 3. I'd like to have one, like maybe that London Bridge, just like home defense, like, 5 time to barricade, throw that guy on. But then
Sure.
I'd like to have a dedicated, like, low visibility plate carrier that's like totally slick, everything, and then one setup that's like the overt stuff with all my stuff bolted to it.
Sure.
Instead of having to like strip this one down and then put everything back on it. So now, luckily, like with the back panel and the placard, that part's easy. It's just the cummerbund that's annoying. So
Yeah, I was thinking that, like, so up until now, I've had to have several plate carriers for different roles, and because of the cheapness of the AR 500, I have bought several. But I was thinking with the placards, it would be easy to switch.
yeah,
But here's my, like, I did this almost as a goof for funsies. I got 2 little drummer boy mags on each side here,
okay,
and then some 40s. It's just like how much ammo can I fit on a plate carrier. That was the idea for this one. But you couldn't switch that quickly or easily.
yeah. That also
But multiple
looks
carriers is cool.
ridiculous.
By ridiculous, you mean awesome?
I don't know if I would want to wear that. I mean,
I've never taken it through a class. It was mostly like,
yeah,
hey, I got this other plate carrier sitting here. What can I do with this?
yeah. I would, if you were like, I'll carry the heavy stuff, be like, sick, dude.
Realistically, carrying D60s not in the gun, like, they're not great to carry in any manner. But I think Mil-Spec Monkey is who makes those pouches for them, and I was like, fuck it,
Okay.
I'll get a couple of these and just see what I can do with it.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting concept. I've seen oh, this will get us some controversy. Nobody's watching. The Israeli saw gunners they've got like they run 2 big pouches, like kind of angled, like kind of in the front, like on the side a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting. I've not really seen a setup like that before.
Is it just the regular, like, saw pouches that Sam
Well,
Russell talks about?
I say saw pouches. They're not. It's not technically a saw. It's like whatever the Israeli version of the saw is,
Okay.
and but the pouch is like it's almost like D shaped. It's got a curve to it, but it's holding link 5.56 link.
Like, not in a nutsack, like, just the belt of it.
Ooh, I don't know. I think it's in some sort of a container.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. Good question. I don't know a lot about machine guns, and I know even less about Israeli machine guns.
Right. Right.
But yeah. So there's uh, some positives and negatives, and that's why I asked, like, I don't know, what do you want to be able to do with it? So like for me, I wanted the one hand on and off. That was important. I liked that I was able to scale up and scale down, like where it's slick or build it out to a full carrier.
Sure.
And I also, like, I'm glad I took this advice, is like don't buy your carrier and then buy plates to go in it. Like, buy your plates and then let that determine what carrier. I think that was James' advice, actually. like buy the plates you're going to buy, and then buy the carrier that fits those plates.
Sure.
So that's what I did. And like, yeah, I'm a little bit of a snob because I wore kit for, 10 hours a day, 4 days a week for years and years and years.
Sure.
Like,
The more you use it, the more it justifies buying the top of the line stuff.
well, just that I'm a snob because I know what right feels like. And like so it really bothers me when stuff isn't right. Like
Sure.
I'm anal about that. So I spent a lot of time evaluating my kit stuff prior to SUT, and I know you and I had talked a little bit about that back then, but I went through like 6 or 7 like big changes to my setup, and I'm really glad I did because everything worked exactly how I hoped it would work.
Damn, that never
So,
happens. That never happens at a first run through on SUT.
well, the shoulder straps needed more comfort. So I guess technically not everything,
Minor,
but
something minor.
yeah. And if I was doing this right, so I've got a Blue Force Gear 10 speed mounted to the inside of my cummerbund right here, and the reason for that is,
Damn, I didn't even notice that.
yeah, exactly. But that's what it's good for, is like totally out of the way.
Right.
So the reason that's there was for a magazine, so I can have.
Is that really difficult to re-index, like with it? With
It's not easy to re-index. No, it's not easy to. But I mean, it's also like if all my other pouches are re-indexable, like this can just be the one that doesn't get refilled, right?
Sure.
But here, I'll throw another just for the benefit of the vidya. But so I had that set up that way. What this should be is a wing pouch. So a wing pouch mounts here and hangs off the side, and your cummerbund goes over it. So it's attached to the front plate bag.
Wouldn't that be in the way?
Well, stay with me now. So it would go underneath the tube.
Ah, okay.
Right? So the cummerbund would go over it, and the tube would fasten down, and it would be hanging from the front plate bag right in this negative space where my front plate is, right?
Okay.
So a lot of dudes run radios there,
Sure.
or magazines, or like people run fixed blade knives there a lot. But that's how this should be if I was doing this right, but I'm just poor and I'm not spending money. So what I did for the class is I just mounted stuff to I took some pouches I had and mounted to the inside of my cummerbund. So
Sure.
for a magazine, not really a big deal. Okay. For my radio, what that meant is to be able to open the cummerbund, I had to run my push to talk all the way around the cummerbund, up through the back plate bag. That's another positive to this carrier, is like it's designed to run all your cables inside this stuff. So there's no exposed cable anywhere, which is a huge positive.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I had to run the cable all the way through the cummerbund, into the back plate bag, over the shoulder, into the front plate bag, and then out the little port to have my push to talk here. And then, so that was not ideal because my push to talk cable is not long enough. So I just had barely enough to get it in and out of the pouch, but I did not have enough to like take it out of the pouch and like look at it and like play with it.
Sure.
So that's why it should be in a wing pouch on the front plate bag. And then when I got to the class, I ended up being team leader. I ended up running 2 radios, which I was not prepared to do. I didn't have my kit set up to do that.
Sure.
Now, luckily, that's a positive to the 10 speed is I took a magazine out and I put a radio in here. So
and that worked fine?
It worked great.
Okay.
The downside to that is I had to run my push to talk into the front plate bag, which meant that now I'm literally cabled in. I can't take this right side apart.
Yeah.
So that's a big reason it should be on the front. Also, it's keeping weight off the cummerbund, so it's not sagging. Like the weight is supported by like the armor plate, right?
Yeah.
And it's also keeping weight off the cummerbund keeps it from doing the flop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like doing that thing, like if you're doing burpees or whatever. So for the weight distribution, the stability of the cummerbund, the cable routing, it's my opinion that those should be wing pouches. So and I can do that with this carrier. It's just I would have to go buy it. So
Sure.
or yeah. So there is a downside of that as you start layering Velcro. So that's a downside of the placard system is it's a ton of Velcro, which is potentially a wear item. Now, if I'm running the tubes, it's not. I'm not worried about it. But
yeah, you're not using it.
Yeah, but it is like there's some ways that Molly is better, like just straight up Molly. But once I start, if I like were to put my adapters, my wing pouch, and a dangler, like now I've got
That's
like
a lot
3
of
layers of Velcro between. So potential downsides depending on what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. A lot of those
right.
can be mitigated. But it's just something to think about when you're like looking at setting something up. So now the cool thing is like with the modern, here's another big selling point for the modern stuff is everything's compatible. So I shouldn't say everything. Some things are annoyingly like the back panels are annoyingly proprietary. I
Okay.
can't take a Crye back panel and zip it onto this. But there's 1,000 aftermarket companies that make stuff for Spiritus or for Ferro Concepts or for Crye.
What is there besides placards? Like what else would there even be? You mean?
Shoulder straps. You can get whole different aftermarket cummerbunds.
Okay.
Back panels. So like this back panel is not a Spiritus back panel.
Okay.
It's Whiskey 24. I think Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, something like that. Back panel made for the Spiritus carrier. Axle Advanced has 1,000 things like that. Zipper on the. Oh, I'm wearing it. This zipper is aftermarket, right? This Molly panel's aftermarket.
Sure.
So, like there's a bunch of different like little adapters and stuff, and then they make adapters like for a traditional plate carrier where you can run placards. So it's like the reverse of what I just described.
Sure. Yeah.
It's
it turns the Molly
piece of
into
Velcro. Exactly. It turns the Molly into Velcro, and then it gives you the clips.
Okay.
So yeah, there's 1,000 little things, and you can get everything just right. Which I don't know. Some dudes don't care about. I care about it.
Yeah, for me, it's just like 500 is a lot of money to drop for a marginal improvement. Like, you know, if I didn't already have a plate carrier, I'd be like, yeah, sure, that's what it costs to get one.
Yeah.
But for that, and then to assume I'm probably going to need at least 2 placards. So now we're what, $700. or start sales tax. We're starting to inch up to $1,000 here. You know.
Yeah, I think it's hard to. Everything's more expensive than you think it is, but it's easy to look at a plate carrier and be like, it's not that much, but then look at like all the little bits and pieces you're going to buy.
Right.
And this goes for the AR 500 too. Like, okay, how many pouches are you going to buy? You know, and stuff like that. So, oh, let me see the pouches on that. Or those are SOE pouches. Never mind.
Most of them. So I've got. I don't. This is like an Amazon special right here. I think it's got my smokes and
Okay.
my Leatherman mutt. And I cut. They had snaps as well as the Velcro, which I
Okay.
cut off. But my radio is all the way back here,
Uh-huh.
which I cannot really get to, and it's
Yeah,
just
that's not a great spot.
where it had to be. And then this is my catch-all. You usually just have a balaclava and gloves in here, and maybe some snacks. But I do
Just
need,
storage.
yeah, I do need help to access that. I can't get to that by myself. I used to run it upside down when I literally had just my gloves in here, and I could
Mhm.
reach, I could open it up, grab my gloves, and zip it back, and that worked fine. But as soon as I put like some lubrication and stuff in there, I'd end up dropping it when I was trying to get my gloves. So I did flip it, but it gets nice and flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so most of this is SOE. Some of this is like a Amazon special pouch, like probably like a Condor or something.
Yeah.
Um, and then this
Gotcha.
giant push to talk. The first push to talk I got didn't work. Wasn't waterproof for the Yaesu.
Mhm.
Um, and then I ordered this one. It did not look that big on on the website. And I mean, granted, it works great, but it is chunky, dude. Thing's
Well, I
beefy.
always heard you were a size queen, so
Allegedly.
yeah, I think I mean, well, that's another thing that they have is they've got like wings for push to talks.
Okay.
So like if you need to keep your chest clear, they've got ways to like hang the push to talk off the side of the plates,
Sure.
which to me, like I feel like if I'm squished in around this rifle, I kind of wouldn't want that.
Seems
But
bad, yeah.
maybe you could throw one on your left side. I don't know. I mean, but then again, like for the dudes that actually need it, like they're killing people with the push to talks, not with their rifle,
Yeah, it's all situation
right?
dependent.
Or with the tablet that's mounted to their chest. So,
Yeah, that is cool.
like,
That the little phone mount thing is cool. I don't really have a use for it, but it's fucking cool.
oh, so I found a use for it in SUT.
Yeah.
So one of my teammates had one, and he had his phone in there sometimes, but he had a notebook in there,
He had a what? You broke out
a
there.
notebook.
Okay.
So I'm like, dude, that would be sick just to have a like, even if I wasn't necessarily going to write in it, but to have
Sure.
it be like a cheat sheet.
Yeah.
So like pre-planned grid coordinates
Right.
or my comms pace plan or like Kazovac, like if we are needed to do like 9-line or something like that. Like,
Sure.
okay, a little bit of that's fantasy stuff, but like as team leader, it would have when we're doing the same stuff in the same places, I can have a little cheat sheet where it's like, hey, the intersection of this road and this road is
It's this coordinate.
Alpha 08,
Yeah, sure.
right? So Alpha Charlie 08, right? Or like the corner, our objective rally point is Alpha Bravo 11, right? And like to have that where I don't even have to take the map out.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be
All
awesome.
I can just fold this down, check it.
You know what'd be really cool for the cell phone is when it's closed, it's Faraday. So like you got your phone there, but you don't have your phone.
So I
And
think they
then
have that.
really,
I think
and
so. the company that makes these, Thrim or Theorem, whatever however
Yeah.
you say it, I think they have that. They have I think they call it the Vault or the Dark Vault.
Okay.
And you can mount it to your chest. I think the downside is just giant.
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's going to be bigger if it's blocking
Yeah.
all the RF, everything.
Yeah, I
But
mean, for me, if I was doing this for real, I'd have like I would do all the T-Rex labs, like the jailbroke phone, where it doesn't have any of my stuff on there.
right,
It's just what I want on there. And then obviously that's still you still have to worry about signals, even though it isn't necessarily compromising you.
it's still
Um,
something. It's still a signal going out and traceable, and
yeah. Well, and I don't know enough about it to know like when is this thing emitting signal versus only receiving. Like radios are easy because if I'm just receiving, there's no signal.
sure,
Um, all I have to do is just not press the push to talk, which for
right.
some people is harder than others.
yeah, yeah,
But,
yeah. And
but
is that the same way for these? These are not sending a signal; they're only receiving.
dude, I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing. Like that's one of the things that went on my list right away was I wear Apple Watch, and like I need a regular watch to hook to my belt because like it constantly during the night shoot was like lighting up
Oh, for sure. And these do too. You
constantly.
have to turn off the biometrics or whatever, where it's reading your pulse and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's easy to turn off, but if you leave that on, same thing. It's
I had to pull it off. I tried to like tuck it under my sleeve and under my glove.
Mhm.
No. I had to take it off and put it in my shoulder pocket.
Yeah,
So now granted I wouldn't be wearing that if I was doing this for real anyway. Like that seems like a real bad idea.
right.
But yeah, having a watch is important and not that one. Because
Sure.
like what happens when it's just like, okay, at 02, if I don't hear anything from you at 02, it's go time. Like I gotta have a watch.
Yeah.
Um,
An analog
but
watch and a compass is probably not a terrible idea.
yeah. So I don't know. I think there's probably 69 other things that I like and don't like, but I think we talked about it.
Sure. Yeah. There's a lot
But
to think about, a lot to spend money on.
well, I mean, you can some of this stuff you can do already. Like you can
Where'd you go?
I'm back. I don't know why it does that. So like you can run wing pouches already,
Right.
right? Like to get that radio out of where it is, you can run that Ferro Concepts medical pouch or a regular medical dangler to get rid of that giant medical pouch, right? And
Sure.
then you can start moving some of those magazines so you don't have to have double stack like building, you don't have to build out. You can
Right.
find some other homes for that. So like a lot of this, the principles you can apply to that carrier. You wouldn't have to spend a ton of money on a whole new setup.
Um,
But in my opinion, and it's also like it's a different argument going from zero to like buy this thing versus like I'm already invested. I already
exactly.
have
Yeah.
plate carriers, they already work. So how much more benefit am I getting from it, especially when you don't have a good excuse where you use it professionally.
Right.
And
A
it's just
week,
like
one
I
week a
wear
year,
this,
maybe a couple
yeah,
weekends.
I wear this a week a year, 2 weeks a year tops. Like
Yeah.
so, but I don't know. If we ever do have to use it for real, I'm gonna be happy I have this.
Be like,
So
I told you so.
I'm gonna be so comfy in comparison.
Hell yeah.
And I mean, for real though, that is the thing. Like, if you're comfortable, first of all, like, how much better is your mindset in
Sure.
general? And then, like, how much more focused are you, et cetera, et cetera. And then, second of all, how if I'm really uncomfortable, like I'm going to take the armor off. And like maybe I can be real disciplined, but I mean, there's lots of cases of like disciplined ass dudes taking their armor off when they shouldn't have.
Yeah, there's a threshold for sure.
So like, yeah, I don't know, or at least that's what they say. I wasn't there.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So anyway, whatever. Who cares? But friends don't let friends wear steel armor.
It's better than no armor.
Maybe.
Definitely. If you're like so broke you're carrying a high point, you can wear steel armor.
If you're so broke you're carrying a high point, you should kill a guy with a better gun and take that.
If you're broke like Tom is broke and you're just being cheap, then unacceptable. If you're 18 and you work at Wendy's, then steel plates I think is, if it's like I got no plates or I got steel plates, yeah, send it.
I can see it. Although I will say, if you've made me wear 20 pounds of steel, again, how much am I gonna just choose to not wear it? Like I would just stick with the chest rig and just hope I don't die.
I ran it through way of the rifle for the whole week and it sucked. And I was like, I just thought that's just what it was. And then until I borrowed those plates for, like, Rich was like, bro, why are you wearing that? Like, he's like, you don't have to do that to yourself. And then I borrowed those and I was like, oh man, okay. I see your point.
I mean, one of my big things is I did a backpacking trip in Shenandoah on the Appalachian Trail.
I want to do that.
And I was like, I wore my ruck, like, and kind of what it was like how would this work if I had to do it?
Sure.
And dude, I was like an hour in, I was like, yo, fuck wearing plates, dude. No way am I wearing plates.
Oh, you were wearing plates and your ruck?
No. Just the ruck.
Okay.
But well,
both of them at the same time sucks terribly.
Yeah. But I was like, there's no chance.
Yeah.
And so that's the reason I started building out that chest rig I showed you.
Okay.
Is for that, which that I guess is another positive if you were doing that sort of thing like in the mountains, is I can take my placard, take it off my plates, and put it on my chest rig and like ruck up the mountain and have my plates in my ruck.
Yeah.
And then when I get to where I'm going to go to, like, make the loud noises,
sure,
I can put my plates on and just take that placard and clip it in, and I'm not carrying like a whole separate thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I don't know. How realistic is that versus just wearing the stupid thing, or just taking the plates out of the carrier, or just like bringing an empty plate carrier and like putting all the stuff from your plate carrier in the chest rig, right? And then switching it over. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how realistic any of that is, but
how realistic is any of this? I mean, the bottom line is people need to get out there with their rucks on and walk around with it. Like, you got to do that shit. It's hard, but it's rewarding.
Yeah, and if you take any kind of small unit tactics class, and I'd even include like a advanced rifle. Anything you're doing team stuff, wear your plates and wear it all day and don't take it off.
Yeah.
So that's how you're going to learn, and what you like and what you don't like. And yeah.
Oh, yeah, man.
Cool. Well, I think we did it. So thank you for joining me, sir. Hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully it helps somebody. So
yeah, I think I learned some shit. I'm sure when it comes down to pulling the trigger on a purchase, I'll have more questions, but we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. And that's another thing, is like, talk to your bros and that are gear nerds, and they'll hook you up. So, or here we go. Don't talk to your bros. Talk to me. Jump on my social media and hit me up, and I'll walk you through whatever, and I'll call you dumb and poor.
In the YouTube comments.
Yeah, or Facebook or Instagram, whatever you want to do. But then other people can see it and be like, oh, cool. That's what he thinks about this or that. So, all right, man. Thank you for joining me. Read with rapid response training, and go wear your plates in class. Don't be weird.
Based.